to the community. My name is Paul Palka, and I'm the associate for NEWOLA in this area. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a former educator and administrator of 41 years, and I retired just about 10 years ago. And our district was using NEWOLA, and the gentleman that was coming around servicing the school said, would you be interested in a part-time job? And so part-time turned to full-time. To tell you a little bit about NEWOLA, it's a company that started in Ohio. They have two offices. The office for the finances and contracts and all that is in Stowe, Ohio, and the production is in Coshocton. And they're about 20 miles apart. And we service, we're in 7 states, the 5 Great Lakes states, and then West Virginia and Florida. Our smallest district is in Michigan, up in the Upper Peninsula, 12 people in that district. Our largest district is in Florida, Miami-Dade County, 375,000 students. All of the associates, except in Florida, all of the associates are ex-superintendents, and that's for a reason. We've walked the talk, we've been in the trenches. So therefore, we know about every aspect of the education field. But in addition to that, the company noticed that superintendents nowadays don't always have an education background. Sometimes they're coming from the financial part of education, or outside of the actual education field. So it's our job as superintendents, as we're calling on districts, to help the districts get through their crisis and get their plans in order and their policies up to snuff. Before we get into the policy part of it, I just wanted to say that in every state we have an attorney that is a school law person. In Michigan, it's Varnum and Associates. Pat White is the counsel for us. In addition, we have an attorney that sits at the Stowe office for everyday things and things that we can just ask a quick question and get a quick answer. So those are all good things for the schools and so forth. Now, when I talked to Mr. Williams the other day, basically he said that it's been a while since you've had any kind of company come and check your policies and guidelines. I believe you were a MASB client, and I want to tell you the difference between MASB, even though they no longer do the policies. Our company, what we do is our policies are 3-pronged. The first prong is bylaws and policies. Bylaws govern the board, the policies govern the district. Then we have administrative guidelines and forms. And then we have what we call electronic publication or online. And each one of those is a different aspect. So what I'm here tonight to talk about is that the difference, MASB is a wonderful organization. It certifies board members. It'll come down and help boards when they have a crisis or a problem. They do superintendent searches, and they do all of these things very well. The only thing they didn't do very well was policy, and they even admitted that. So we took over their policy work. So again, when you had them, they did not do federal laws. They only did state laws and school code. They didn't do administrative guidelines, and we do administrative guidelines. In our, well, what I call our arsenal, but it is really, our book of policies is about this thick. There's 350 policies within the book, divided into 10 sections. Like the first section is the bylaws, that would be the 000. 1,000 in administration, 2,000 is programs, goes all the way through 9. In talking about that now, there is a process called drafting. And when we draft, what we would do is we would come out and you'd sign a contract first of all. And that contract has the associate coming out there for at least 24 hours as part of the contract. And so what you would do, you would still keep your policies intact, your old policies. But we would come out with a brand new set of policies that would have all of the federal laws in them, all of the state laws, the school code, and board decisions, so forth. We would go through section by section. We would start probably with the most important, like maybe the teachers, the 3,000, the students, the 5,000, administration, 1,000. And we would go through page by page. Now that's work on the board's part. It will take at least 24 hours of drafting. Now, some schools will do it 2 hours at a clip. Sometimes I've done it as fast as in a week, every day, a certain amount of hours. But it really does take you about 24, 25 hours to complete that. Then when that's done, that's the number one piece. When that is done, then what we do is get the board to have a couple readings on it, and then they finalize it, and then we do all the work from that point on. Yes.
The 24 hours, that's included in the original contract.
Yes.
So if for some reason the board takes longer to do it than 24 hours, so say it takes 30 hours or 36 hours, what would be the rate after that?
It'd be about $125 an hour. However, again, when we're close, like for instance, if it would be 26 hours, 27 hours, I'll eat that. But what I'm saying is that if it's close, we don't count that. But
if it gets to 30, 36, you're going to want to count it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So then, when you get the policies back and they have been approved by the board and so forth, then you can either stop there for a while, or you can do one of two things. You can get the electronic publication, and that's putting it online. And so that, again, is no work on your part. It's just that you've already done the work by drafting. So within 2 weeks, that would be put online for you. And there's a separate contract for that, obviously. And then there's the administrative guidelines. And they're done the very same way as the policies and bylaws are done. There's a drafting. And again, I told you there's 350 policies. There's about 430 guidelines. There's more guidelines than there is for policy. And why is that? Well, you don't always need policy for everything. Like if you're talking about a head lice problem and you want to know if there's a guideline for it, yes, there is a guideline for dealing with head lice, or bioterrorism, or a pandemic, or something like that. So those things are already in there. And then when you're doing policy again, they will sometimes refer to the administrative guideline with a matching number. And then in the guideline, it'll say a corresponding form that can be used. So you have the whole ball of wax when you're all done, that the policies go right along with the guidelines, and the guidelines go right along with the forms, and so that it's a complete package that way.